what I really have a fundamental problem with, and I liken it to, for instance, an expert situation, okay? Experts in the criminal system get away with far more than they do in the civil system, obviously. But, you know, at least with an expert, the court at least has to make the determination on the reliability of the testimony, right? There is no such determination by the court on the reliability of these guys' testimonies that's been bought and paid for before they let the jury hear it. It's just, it goes to, the court just basically say, well, that's for the jury to decide whether they're credible.
Well, you're trying to equate that to scientific bought and paid for testimony.
Yeah.
Where these people, they consider them just another fact witness. But what bothers me the most is what lengths the state will go to, in some cases, to hide what the actual deal is.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, where literally you need to, it's almost like playing Battleship to ask the right question to figure out what their compensation is or what the deal is, or for those of us who have even represented someone who has cooperated with the state, what great lengths they will go to bury what the actual deal is. Like, we're not promising you anything, but.
Yeah. But I mean, I get back to the reliability thing, because all the state or the government has to do is basically get up there and talk about in jury selection itself and say, well, you know, you're going to hear from some witnesses who have done this, that, or the other, and you know, we don't choose our witnesses, and they'll come back to that in closing. We don't get to choose our witnesses. Well, yeah, you do. You chose this person. You gave them a deal. You gave them remuneration for their testimony. You did choose them.
Which goes to what Rand was saying, is they're not going to tell us. They try to hide it. They even lie about it. In some trials I've been a part of where, they did this on their own. There was no compensation paid. And after the trial, we find out that prosecutor cut the check, was part of the reason checks were cut. You lied to us. You lied on the record in a court of law as a prosecutor about compensation, because they want to take that out of our mouths. They don't want to give us that in voir dire. They don't want to give us that in closing argument, to where we can say exactly what you just said, Jimmy, which is, no, actually they can choose. They did choose in this case, and which I think is a motivation for what Rand was touching on, as far as hiding the ball, or in some cases just flat out lying about it. And when they're uncovered, nothing happens. Yeah, going back to what you said earlier on that other point, they can do these things, and when they're caught, when they're brought out, nothing happens. In fact, they probably get promoted, and then, you know, later down the day, we'll find out there'll be an asset forfeiture case, because there'll be an AUSA one day, because apparently that's what happens.
It's the promotion. Well, I mean, so this law requires them to, quote, keep thorough records of their jailhouse informants that they use, the nature of their testimony, the benefits they received, and all their criminal history, and the information must be disclosed to defense lawyers. Okay? Great. That's all this legislation does. That, to me, again, it doesn't change the fact that the courts are not going to, and have not done anything, to hammer these people for not having done that.
Well, what are your benefits received? The fact that you didn't get charged with a crime, maybe you did something and you didn't get charged for it, is that a benefit received? Absolutely. Is that going to be recorded anywhere? No. No one's going to write that down. No one's going to say, I didn't charge him for.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So you'll never have an idea of how many times this witness has received benefits for their testimony.